Hello guys. Okay. The habit contract. The first seat belt law was passed in New York on December 1st, 1984. At the time, just 14% of people in the United States regularly wore seatbelt, but that was all about to change. Within 5 years, over half of the nation had seatbelt laws. Today, wearing a seatbelt is enforceable by law in 49 of the 50 states, and it's not just the legislation. The number of people wearing seatbelts has changed dramatically as well. In 2016, over 88% of Americans buckle up each time they got in a car. In just over 30 years, there was a complete reversal in the habits of millions of people. Laws and regulations are an example of how government can change our habits by creating a social contract. As a society, we collectively agree to abide by certain rules and then enforce them as a group. Whenever a new piece of legislation impacts behavior, seatbelt laws, banning smoking inside restaurants, mandatory recycling, it is an example of a social contract shaping our habits. The group agrees to act in a certain way, and if you don't follow along, you'll be punished. Just as governments use laws to hold citizens accountable, you can create a habit contract to hold yourself accountable. A habit contract is a verbal or written agreement in which you state your commitment to a particular habit and the punishment that will occur if you don't follow through. Then you find one or two people to act as your accountability partners and sign off on the contract with you. Brian Harris, an entrepreneur from Nashville, Tennessee, was the first person I saw put this strategy into action. Shortly after the birth of his son, Harris realized he wanted to shed a few pounds. He wrote up a habit contract between himself, his wife, and his personal trainer. The first version read, Brian's #1 objectively for quarterly 1 of 27 is to start eating correctly again so he feels better, looks better, and is able to hit his long-term goal of 200 pounds at 10% body fat. Below that statement, Harris laid out a roadmap for achieving his ideal outcome. Phase 1, get back to a strict low-carb diet in quarter 1. Phase 2, start a strict macronutrient tracking program in quarter 2. Phase 3, refine and maintain the details of his diet and workout program in quarter 3. Finally, he wrote out each of the daily habits that would get him to his goal. For example, write down all food that he consumes each day and weigh himself each day. And then he listed the punishment if he failed. If Brian doesn't do these 2 items, then the following consequences will be enforced. He will have to dress up each workday and each Sunday morning for the rest of the quarter. Rest of is defined as not wearing jeans, t-shirts, hoodies, or shorts. He will also give Joe, his trainer, $200 to use as he sees fit if he misses one day of logging food. At the bottom of the page, Harris, his wife, and his trainer all signed the contract. My initial reaction was that a contract like this seemed overly formal and unnecessary, especially the signatures, but Harris convinced me that signing the contract was an indication of seriousness. Anytime I skip this part, he said, I start slacking almost immediately. 3 months later, after hitting his targets for quarter 1, Harris upgraded his goals. The consequences escalated too. If he missed his carbohydrate and protein targets, he had to pay his trainer $100, and if he failed to weigh himself, he had to give his wife $500 to use as he saw fit. Perhaps most painfully, if he forgot to run sprints, he had to dress up for work every day, and wear an Alabama hat for the rest of the quarter. The bitter rival of his beloved Auburn team. The strategy worked, with his wife and trainer acting as accountability partners, and with the habit contract clarifying exactly what to do each day. Harris lost the way. To make bad habits unsatisfying, your best option is to make them painful in the moment. Creating a habit contract is a straightforward way to do exactly that. Even if you don't want to create a full-blown habit contract, simply having an accountability partner is useful. The comedian Margaret Cho writes a joke or song every day. She does the song A Day Challenge with a friend, which helps them both stay accountable. Knowing that someone is watching can be a powerful motivator. You are less likely to procrastinate or give up because there is an immediate cost. If you don't follow through, perhaps they'll see you as untrustworthy or lazy. Certainly you are not only falling to uphold your promises to yourself, but also falling to uphold your promises to others. You can even automate this process. Thomas Frank, an entrepreneur in Boulder, Colorado, wakes up at 5:55 each morning. If he doesn't, he has a tweet automatic schedule that says it's 6:10 and I'm not up because I'm lazy. Reply to this for $5, while people limited 5, assuming my alarm didn't malfunction. We are always trying to present our best selves to the world. We comb our hair and brush our teeth and dress ourselves carefully because we know these habits are likely to get a positive reaction. We want to get good grades and graduate from top schools to impress potential employers and mates and our friends and family. We care about the opinions of those around us because it helps if others like us. This is precisely why getting an accountability partner or signing a habit contract can work so well. Chapter summary. The inversion of the fourth law of behavior change is make it unsatisfying. We are less likely to repeat a bad habit if it's painful or unsatisfying. An accountability partner can create an immediate cost to inaction. We are deeply about what others think of us, and we do not want others to have a lesser opinion of us. A habit contract can be used to add a social cost to any behavior. It makes the cost of violating your promises public and painful. Knowing that someone else is watching you can be a powerful motivator. Okay, how to create a good habit? Fourth law: make it satisfying. Use reinforcement. Give yourself an immediate reward when you complete your habit. Make doing nothing enjoyable when avoiding a bad habit. Design a way to see the benefits. Use habit tracker. Keep track of your habits, track, and don't break the chain. Never miss twice when you forget to do a habit. Make sure you get back on track immediately. How to break a bad habit? The fourth law, inversion of the fourth law: make it unsatisfying. Get an accountability partner. Ask someone to watch your behavior. Create a habit contract. Make the cost of your bad habits public and painful. Advanced tactics: how to go from being merely good to being truly great. Okay, merely good to truly great. The truth about talent: when genes matter and when they don't. Many people are familiar with Michael Phelps, who is widely considered to be one of the greatest athletes in history. Phelps has won more Olympic medals, not only than any swimmer, but also more than any Olympian in any sport. Few people know the name H.M. Alguero, but he was a fantastic athlete in his own right. Alguero is a Moroccan runner who has 2 Olympic gold medals and is one of the greatest middle distance runners of all time. For many years, he held the world record in the mile, 1500 meter and 200 meter races at the Olympic Games in Athens, Greece in 2004. He won gold in the 1500 meter and 500 meter races. These two athletes are widely different in many ways. For starters, one competed on land and the other in water, but mostly notably they differ significantly in height. Alguero is 5 feet 9 inches tall. Phelps is 6 feet 4 inches tall. Despite this 7-inch difference in height, the two men are identical in one respect. Michael Phelps and H.M. Alguero wear the same length inseam on their pants. How is this possible? Phelps has relatively short legs for his height and very long torso, the perfect build for swimming. Alguero has incredibly long legs and a short upper body, an ideal frame for distance running. Now imagine if these world-class athletes were to switch sports. Given his remarkable athleticism, could Michael Phelps become an Olympian caliber distance runner with enough training? It's unlikely. At peak fitness, Phelps weighs 194 pounds, which is 40% heavier than Alguero, who completed at an ultra light 138 pounds. Taller runners are heavier runners, and every extra pound is a cost when it comes to distance running. Against elite competition, Phelps would be doomed from the start. Similarly, Alguero might be one of the best runners in history, but it's doubtful he would ever qualify for the Olympics as a swimmer. Since 1976, the average height of Olympic gold medalist in the men's 150 meters run is 5 feet 10 inches. In comparison, the average height of Olympic gold medalist in the men's 100 meter freestyle swim is 6 feet and 4 inches. Swimmers tend to be tall and have long back and arms, which are identical to pulling through the water. Alguero would be at a severe disadvantage before he ever touched the pool. The secret to maximizing your odds of success is to choose the right field of competition. This is just as true with habit change as it is with sports and business. Habits are easier to perform and more satisfying to stick with when they are aligned with their natural inclinations and abilities. Like Michael Phelps in the pool or Hicham El Guerres on the track, you want to play a game where the odds are in your favor. Embracing this strategy requires the acceptance of the simple truth that people are born with different abilities. Some people don't like to discuss this fact. On the surface, your genes seems to be fixed, and it's no fun to talk about things you cannot control. Plus, phrases like biological determinism makes it sound like certain individuals are destined for success and others doomed to failure. But this is a short-sighted view of the influence of genes on behavior. The strength of genetics is also their weaknesses. Genes cannot be easily changed, which means they provide a powerful advantage in favorable circumstances and a serious disadvantage in unfavorable circumstances. If you want to dunk a baseball, being 7 feet tall is very useful. If you want to perform a gymnastic routine, being 7 feet tall is a great hindrance. Our environment determines the suitability of our genes and the utility of our natural talents. When our environment changes, so do the qualities that determine success. This is true not just for physical. This is true not just for physical characteristics, but for mental ones as well. I'm smart if you ask me about habits and human behavior, not so much when it comes to knitting, racket, propulsion, or guitar chords. Competence is highly dependent on context. The people at the top of any competitive field are not only well trained, they are also well suited to the task. And this is why, if you want to be truly great, selecting the right place to focus is critical. In short, genes do not determine your destiny, they determine your areas of opportunity. As physicians gave our mates notes, genes can predispose, but they don't predetermine. The areas where you can genetically predispose to success are the areas where habits are more likely to be satisfying. The key is to direct your efforts towards areas that both excite you and match your natural skills to align your ambition with your ability. The obvious question is, how do I figure out where the odds are in my favor? How do I identify the opportunities and habits that are right for me? The first place we will look for an answer is understanding your personality. Okay, so that's it, guys. Tomorrow, how your personality influences your habits. Okay, so bye, guys. Let's see you tomorrow. Okay.